Welcome to the European show live on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Patrick Mullen, joined once again with my co-host Blair Malloy as we look into what has been another exceptional week of Champions League football. Blair, we're into week 5 now of the Champions League. We're going to start to get into the really nitty-gritty side of the competition, and I think we're going to start talking about these home teams, Scotland's teams, doing well once again.
Yeah, Patrick, we're eventually getting to that point of the tournament that I think we were all waiting for. That at the beginning we weren't quite sure how this league format was going to work out. It might take a little bit longer for the games to really have that meaning, to know what these games they're now playing for. Now we're getting to that stage. It's getting really exciting. All of the games matter. All of the points matter. And like you said there, if we start off this week talking about the Scottish teams, Celtic in the Champions League, picking up a point against Club Brugge. What did you make of that one? I
think a lot of the Celtic fans will probably agree with me when I say that Club Brugge on the night were probably the better team. But that's what you've got to do in the Champions League. Celtic, I think they would have been delighted with a point after the game, maybe hoping, kind of following on from that fantastic performance against RB Leipzig last time out. But you take a point and you look at where they're at in the group stages. They're 20th in the league standings and 4 points clear currently of the team missing out in 25th place. So I know you're going to talk to us a bit about the Opta stats, but they've got to be fancying their chances to get through.
I think what you said there, Brendan Rodgers picked up on after the game, where he was saying that he really impressed with the resolve of that Celtic team when not playing well to dig out a result. And I think, like you said, that's exactly what's expected at this level. You might not be having the best game, but I think Brendan Rodgers' own words were, when you give up 45 minutes like that, and I think that was the case the other night. They really let Club Brugge really have dominance in that opening period, but the second half they came back into it, and really, it wouldn't have surprised me if Celtic won that game in the last 10 minutes. They looked as though they had the momentum, they looked as though they were the team going forward, and like you said, touch a little bit on the percentages round about Celtic in this campaign. Where they stand just now, with 8 points, with 3 games left, currently, if they were to only pick up those 8 points, they still have a 13% chance of making it through. Okay. Now, of course, they still have to play Dinamo Zagreb away, Young Boys at home, and Aston Villa away. Now, how Celtic have been playing in this competition so far, you would expect them to pick up some more points from that. If they were to get 1 more point, that jumps to 42% to making it into the last 24 via those playoff places. And if they were to get another point on top of that, which is entirely not inconceivable given their fixtures to come up, that goes to a 94% chance of playing European football beyond these early stages.
One more victory, I feel, for Celtic fans. They will know. I think the stat, I saw it, 99.8%. If they were to get 1 more victory, I think we can all agree that's them through. They'll be playing a playoff round at least, and if they get a few more victories, you never know, who knows. But I think we have to talk about it, and I think Brendan Rodgers is going to mention it as well. This new setup, I think Celtic, they're benefiting from it, not having to play the same teams, not getting a potentially horrendous draw. We've already spoken about it on this show. They did get one of the nicest draws out there, and Brendan Rodgers, let's listen from him about what he thinks about the new format.
Well, I think that's obviously the idea of it, to open it up. And because, like I say, you know, notoriously, for the time I've been here, we've been a top 4 team, and you're playing against top sides, and especially in this modern era, that can be a real challenge. But I think tonight you've seen a really good game. One side, they were better than us first half, I felt. Second half we responded really, really well, and it still gives both teams a chance to make through into that playoff stage. So I think from our perspective, it's great on a number of aspects, and an opportunity is one of them.
Celtic obviously are the only team from Scotland in the Champions League, but the format, it runs all the way through the Europa League and the Conference League, and Rangers last night, Blair, a stunning performance from Philippe Clement's men.
Yeah, I don't understand this Rangers team. I'm trying my best to comprehend what they are, and after the disappointment of the weekend, drawing against Dundee United, I know you were there at Ibrox, you heard the discontent amongst the Ibrox support, and there was even whispers earlier in the week that it could be curtains for Philippe Clement. They turned up on the French Riviera last night, and they put 4 past a team who are flying in League One. It baffles me. Now, don't get me wrong, Nice have not been having a good European campaign. They're still yet to have a win in that competition, but the way that Rangers aggressively went after that Nice side who, albeit are in the throes of an injury crisis on their own. I mean, the defending from Nice, some of it was comical at times, just giving the ball away. But I want to talk about Hamza Igman. This young man, 22 years old. I know there was a little bit of debate about can he be still classed as an up-and-comer at 22. We're all very quick to write people off if they're not already made by 19. We all say they're not run for the future. But his performance last night, I really felt it was a coming-of-age performance in a Rangers jersey. It's maybe not so much even his goals, but the assist for Václav Černy's first goal, where he runs across the back four, takes it on his chest, and then lays it off to Černy. That for me is excellent centre-forward play, and it just shows his mobility and his game intelligence, and I was very impressed.
There's nothing more I enjoy than what I saw last night, and that is when someone on Twitter just has a massive egg in their face. You saw it in the first half. People were writing comment after comment about Hamza Igmani. He's not ready, he's not built for this stage, he's not that kind of quality. And there he goes, scores a goal, another couple, an assist. What a performance from him. And he's left Rangers in a fantastic position for automatic qualification. They're 8th in the league table. And Philippe Clement will be hoping that his side can avoid all of that playoffs. There's some big teams just behind them, but they'll be hoping they can go all the way. One team, though, I wouldn't say letting the team down, but last night, not their night. Hearts, a 2-0 defeat against Cercle Brugge. What did you make of that performance? And I think you're going to mention Lawrence Shankland.
Yeah, from one striker who is brimming with confidence in young Edmani to another who can't buy a goal. And I really, really felt for Lawrence Shankland last night. You can see he's just a striker that just is missing that little bit of confidence right now. The Lawrence Shankland of 12 months ago, you would have to say would have scored 3 last night. The chances that he had, and then it was fully compounded with that penalty when he puts it over the bar, and you just thought, oh, no. It was so disappointing when he skied that penalty, because you know what it's like. If a striker gets one, it can set them up, it can keep them going, but he's only managed 1 goal in 20 appearances for Hearts this season so far, and that's just not the Lawrence Shankland that we've seen last year.
I think everyone will be hoping that, obviously, Shankland, Hearts, Neil Critchley, he needs his striker to get back firing. I think you could see it, the camera panned straight to him when he blasted it over. He knew how big an opportunity it was, and then obviously Bruges go up and score another one. For them, not as good in the league. They're 16th in the league table. They'll be confident, but I think for the coefficient of Scotland, trying to keep these automatic qualifications coming in a few years' time, it's important all 3 make it out the group and try and have a run in the competition. But there were also plenty of other amazing European games this week. We'll start off with Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 0. That's Liverpool's first victory against Real Madrid since 2009, Blair.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Liverpool, as I have been all season, to be honest. I think they are very much the best team in Europe right now, and I don't think anyone can really argue with that. I think no one can really lay a glove on them. They keep producing these great performances. That's 12 goals scored in the Champions League now, only 1 conceded. 5 wins in a row against Real Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen, Leipzig, Bologna, Milan. Not terrible opposition by any means. Truly, but some big hitters in there of European football. And the goalkeeper Kelleher the other night, saving that penalty from Kylian Mbappe. I don't know if it was just me, but I almost felt like it was just written in the stars that he was going to save that. Mbappe not having a great season, struggling at Real Madrid this year. Kelleher has so much chat about him this year, and an incredible performance. And it begs the question, is he now the Liverpool #1?
He's been unbelievable. They say take your chances when they come. Alisson, he's obviously been out with this injury, and he has been fantastic in the goal. Liverpool top of the Premier League, top of the Champions League. They're already qualified now for the knockout stages. I think when I saw that penalty be saved, I know there was a few maybe rumours lingering in the summer. Could Celtic be maybe making a move?
Yeah, I think that's long gone now.
See, when I saw that penalty get saved, I was like, I hate to say it, Celtic fans, but I think that is long gone. I think it's always tricky. Alisson, his main attribute is his distribution. Will Slot go back to him? Who knows? We'll see when he comes back fully fit. But you have to say, for the Irish goalkeeper, he's really put his foot in the door.
It's a very enviable position that Liverpool find themselves in, having 2 of the best keepers, almost informed keepers in European football right now. But another player who was causing a little bit of consternation between us in the office earlier on came from the second goal. Cody Gakpo with an excellent header. I think we can both agree on that. It was a great header. Assisted by Scotland's very own Andy Robertson. Now, I think this was an excellent assist. I think he's put the ball into a fabulous area, and I don't think you can take anything away from his part in that goal. But you're going to try your best to anyway.
I don't want to be on the brunt of Andy Robertson abuse. However,
You're going to.
but I just can't allow it. I think for me, that goal was more of a mistake than a good ball. I think Rudiger, it's his man. He should be on Gakpo. He's just chasing the ball. And to have a player like Cody Gakpo 3 yards away from the goal, a clear header. Robertson's put a nice ball into the danger area. It's a high floater. Sergio Ramos back in his day would have won that header and Real Madrid would have been playing out. He hasn't. I'm trying to be cautious of what I've said. Andy Robertson, a fantastic wing back, potentially not having his best season, a few mistakes, but if you get the assist like he did, people seem to forget about it given that's his role at the moment.
I think that so much of Andy Robertson's game has always been defined by his forward play, as the modern fullback role. Well, how many times have we seen Trent Alexander-Arnold's been on the end of it? He's been criticised for his defending sometimes, but what he offers you going forward is so much more than just a traditional defender. Of course, he scored the winner for Scotland in that recent game against Poland, that assist the other night. And let's not forget, he's been consistently this season part of a back four, as we just said, that is dominating the Premier League, that is dominating the Champions League, and he's an integral part of it. Okay, he may have made the occasional mistake, but I don't think you can be too harsh on Andy Robertson. I think he's having maybe not his best season, but I think he still produces moments of quality, and I think one the other night was one of those moments of quality. So let us know what you think in the comments. Do you agree with me that it was a great assist, or do you agree with Patrick that he's overrated?
Come on. But before we do move on to the next game, I think a note, we've all seen that tackle, Conor Bradley on Mbappe. Fantastic young player, up and coming. I think he's going to be a real star for the future.
Yeah, I remember watching him for Northern Ireland against Scotland, and it was a game we were at last season, and it's incredible when you see such a young player that his country have almost built a team round about him already. He was playing almost like a quarterback role from the fullback position, spraying the ball about, and he just looks so composed on the ball. And I think his ability almost gets overshadowed a little bit when he's in a team of such superstars, but you just have to remember how young this kid is, and he's went into that starting 11 and he's holding his own, and I think he really is one to watch. I think Liverpool have an absolute gem in their hands.
Perfect. From one Premier League team to another, not quite going to plan for Pep Guardiola. Manchester City 3, Feyenoord 3, 3-0 up after 53 minutes. I think everyone was turning off their TV or switching it over to another game. What a comeback from Feyenoord.
Yeah, this is certainly not a result you would have seen in the last couple of years. I think once Manchester City go 3-0 up in any game, you would have assumed that's it, it's game over. They might even get 4, 5, 6 on some occasions. That's now, speaking of 6, no wins in 6 now for Manchester City.
What you did there.
Yeah, and Pep Guardiola, he's recently signed a new contract, but things are looking a little bit like the wheels are maybe coming off a touch. And that was exemplified in his post-match press conference, where he came away with some rather unusual comments. Let's hear what he had to say here.
Hi Pep, sorry to go off topic, but you've got a cut, and apparently some others.
Yeah, with my finger here, with my nail.
That's fine.
I wanna hurt myself. Yeah. Good night.
It'll be okay.
Obviously, those comments caused a lot of talk on social media. Quite worrying scenes there. What he was saying, that when you first seen it, it was quite shocking, and he was actually about to put out a statement after this, where he says, I was caught off guard with a question at the end of the press conference last night about a scratch which had appeared on my face, and explained that a sharp fingernail had accidentally caused this. My answer was in no way intended to make light of the very serious issue of self-harm, and then put a number 2 Samaritans, of course, for anyone that is struggling. And I think that the fact that he's making light about things like that and quipping like that at the end of a press conference, it's showing that things are not all rosy in the garden at Manchester City. And I've came up with my own sort of theory as to why, at least on the park, it might not be working for Manchester City. And I think that this is a club that is so wrapped up in Pep Guardiola. That they have built everything around Pep Guardiola. The way they play football, they have decided that he wants to have a small squad because of the psychological honing that he wants to have on this team. But you've seen it now, when they start having injuries, like Rodri, like Ruben Diaz, it starts to pick away at that squad, and all of a sudden you're left with, I dare say, bare bones, because Manchester City have a squad full of superstars. But when you start to take those very important pieces of the puzzle out of that, there are weaknesses that are to be got at.
It's a team that's been incredible for the last 4 to 5 seasons. Champions League, finals, semi-finals, quarter-finals, winning the Champions League, falling short. They've been going quadruple, they've been going for every tournament for the last 4 to 5 years. And you get to a point where there's been some changes and some players moving out. Alvarez is gone. You look at some of the players that have come in who have hit the ground running. But there's gonna be, as Erik ten Hag said, eras come to an end. Sometimes these players just can't keep doing it, keep playing at that high level. And they're tired. These players have been playing 60 games plus for 3 seasons, some of them. It's incredible how they've managed to make it through. And that's what you see. You switch off in that slightest bit in the Champions League, and Feyenoord, they come back and kill you. A little bit, let's try and lift the mood a little bit after those worrying statements. Sky Bet at 53rd minute in the game had 250 to 1 odds for a draw between Manchester City and Feyenoord.
Yeah.
According to them, 8 punters had put the bet us on. I'm sure they enjoyed their Wednesday night.
Yeah.
A little bit more maybe than the Manchester City players.
I think you get one of those in your life if you pick that out and put that on at 250 to 1. Absolutely incredible pick out. Maybe not so happy as the Aston Villa fans during the week. I'm going to say it, Patrick, they were robbed. They were absolutely robbed. There is no way that is a foul. No way it's a foul.
I don't think we're actually allowed on this channel to actually send or publish what I sent you. But see, as soon as I saw that, I sent Blair a message. A disgrace of a decision. We all know that goalkeepers are given extra protection in the box. The Juventus goalkeeper has moved into Diego Carlos. There's contact there because he's moved into the player. He hasn't done anything towards the goalkeeper. He's fumbled the ball, and the ball has been put into the back of the net. If I'm Emery or if I'm a Villa fan, I'm furious.
Well, I think Unai Emery agrees with you. He says that foul would not have been given if it was a regular Premier League game.
In England, the interpretation is different. The England referees, one action like that, the interpretation is not foul. Clear, not foul. In Europe, the interpretation is different. They have to be working to get the same decision when some action like that is coming. Maybe yes, but
You feel for Villa. They were so close to having that famous night. And we can have a look at the Champions League table now. They are doing so well. 9th in the table. You can see it there, just outside of that automatic playoff places. And you have to think, a victory last night, that would have taken them up until, 12 points. They would have been top 3, top 4. Unai Emery, you've got to be heartbroken. Looking at the bottom there, Young Boys, Slovan, IB Leipzig, Bologna, Salzburg, some big teams down at the bottom. But I think it's actually on the very first one that we'll see, and it will lead us into our next one, and that is PSG outside of the playoff spots.
Yep, I think that is the big hitter down there. Real Madrid, of course, obviously down there as well, but you look at PSG in that bottom half of the table. They are a team, for me, that are seriously struggling with this new format. And it was said that they were given, statistically, the hardest set of fixtures. But that just seems to be the luck of the draw. It seems to be that this is, unfortunately, the way this new system is set up, they seem to have not been one of the beneficiaries of it. 26th in the new format, according to some data published by the New York Times. They currently it's a bit 50-50 on whether they think they're going to make it or not. 42% chance they could be eliminated, slightly higher 58% chance of making the playoff, but they currently have a less than 1% chance of winning the entire tournament. Now, you think back a couple of years, this seems to be, it looked as though this was all PSG wanted. They wanted the Champions League to complete the project and add that to the cabinet, but they look as though they're miles away from winning that at the minute.
It's never worked out for PSG. They've either had, there's plenty of reasons that people have talked about. Is it just that there are too many individuals in that team? Those individuals have now moved on. There's no more Messi, no more Mbappe, no more Neymar. Yep. So you've now got to build a team. But if you can't, I don't know, in the Champions League, I don't buy it. I don't buy, oh, you've got the hardest draw, you've got the easiest draw. If you want to be the best, you've got to beat the best.
Yeah, of course.
And you're taking on a Bayern Munich side who, quite frankly, yes, they might be leading in the Bundesliga, but they haven't been anywhere near the best side in the Champions League, losing against Aston Villa. Vincent Kompany, a huge victory for him. You're not taking anything away from that as a manager in the Champions League. That was arguably a must-win for him. He couldn't lose another big game in the Champions League. But PSG, I think their home fans, the French media, the French fans, they're starting to turn on them, and you can maybe see a little ticking time bomb for them.
Yeah, I think if anyone thinks we're being harsh on PSG, then the French media absolutely went in on this team. L'Equipe, who are notorious for their scathing takedowns whenever someone's not playing well. I believe it's almost impossible to get a 10 out of 10 in their team of the week. But they said that this is a team that no longer exists in Europe. And they said they were previously an ambitious team when they were signing the likes of Messi. Well, as you mentioned, they were signing Neymar. They've gone down this different road. They've gone for a younger path, a younger model to try and build a team from the roots up. And I think that was also shown when Luis Enrique, with his goalkeeper decision, he put Matvei Sofanov in goal ahead of Gianluigi Donnarumma. And that was a decision perhaps based on his technical ability, his ability to play the ball out with his feet, and it didn't pay off. He has made some good saves, and of course they're still unbeaten domestically. They're still doing very well in the league, but he was at fault for the goal where Kim Min-jae put it in. And it looks as though this PSG side, they're going to be in a bit of trouble unless they start picking up wins in these closing 3 games.
It's just too much to talk about in the Champions League at the moment. I think myself and Blair could sit here and dissect every single game. PSV 3, Shakhtar Donetsk 2, those 3 goals in a matter of the 87th minute onwards. Incredible football all around the Champions League. But sadly, we're out of time. We'll be back, though, next time on the week of the 10th of December, where we'll be getting into the final 3 games of the Champions League. For myself, Patrick Mullen, and Blair Malloy, thanks for joining us here on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. This is the European Show. We'll see you next time.